Oh, we're live. Hold on one second. Into
Hello, Tesla fans. You're watching The Tesla Life, live with your host, Mark Coughlin, where we talk about a cleaner, greener future, electrically powered future.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 406. Here we are on the 9th of April, 2025.
Sure,
and with us, as per usual, we have Mr. Casey Green joining us from his studio somewhere in the mid-Atlantic. How are you today, sir?
doing all right. Managed to spin everything around, and let me show you this real quick here. Do this right here. Turn off that.
Oh, you took away the TV magic, Casey. Now we know you're not in the studio.
No, it's the studio, and I brought that out of storage.
Ah,
so, there it is.
All right. Very good. Very good. Also with us, as per usual, Mr. Patrick Connor. Now, Patrick's picture is a little bit different today, but how you feeling, Patrick?
I'm great. Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't do the normal yellow outline. It's doing some other thing because of the mode I'm in. I'm not camera shy. I just couldn't get my camera to work. So maybe I'll futz with it during the show, and maybe I'll be able to fix that. But I'm here, and let's have some fun. I look forward to this part of the week every week.
Exactly.
Let's do it.
Got a bunch of news as per usual. And this, the first story we'll talk about here is the Tesla is going to be providing a 12 volt and USB access with a new accessory power feature. Now, this came up about, I'm going to say last summer. There was an issue where Tesla had stopped allowing people to plug into the 12 volt to power, say, a small fridge or cooler, because they had an issue that when the vehicle was off, this was still taking power out of the 12 volt, which of course is fed by the high voltage battery. And there was a concern that leaving this for an extended period of time, like overnight or during a camping trip where the vehicle's not on at all, it could be dangerous to the health of the battery. So Tesla had got in there and they made a modification so that it no longer worked. And of course, there had been an influx of people that had bought those special refrigerator / coolers that plug into the 12 volt, especially in the Model Ys, which was conveniently in the back sub trunk. And there was a bunch of people that were kind of upset that this feature went away. They weren't able to use those fridges, typically, I guess, for camping or something where they're keeping stuff cooler overnight. And a lot of people were upset. So it has been some time, like I said, maybe half a year, a little bit longer. And but now Tesla's going to be reintroducing that with this new feature.
But part of the problem was that there was no warning and no switch like there is now. They just took away something that people were counting on. So some folks went on hunting trips or large grocery hauls and found that their food expired. Spoiled. Not expired, spoiled. That's not good.
Yeah, because you're right. There was no warning. There was no heads up on this. It was just basically, that's it. It was off and it didn't work anymore.
Yeah.
But at least they have been working on it. Yeah, at least they have been working on it and have now come up with a solution that will allow people to use this new feature that they're calling to power those coolers again.
Well, I guess the Switch is new, but you know who they didn't mess with?
What's that?
Legacy owners.
Because they know they got you to contend with, Casey, if they were to mess with legacy owners.
It's too hard. Your screen's facing a different direction. We can't turn off the outlets.
Yeah, you can't tell that Casey's upset at all. You just can't tell because he hides it so well.
I mean, if it was a real answer, I would, or actually, I have a non-answer. But if they had a real answer, or something other than speculation that it was the screen direction, then I'd say okay. Like, you know, if they said, oh well, this one we told you the same computer, but the Model 3 uses a TI number 2 chip, and the Model X and S use a TI number 1.5 chip, and the 1.5 just can't do
Can't
remote
support
video.
it. Yeah, can't support it. Yeah, but they don't even go that far, do they? They just say, nope, your screen's not oriented correctly.
Got money? Yeah, we got you the first time. We'll get you again.
But the nice thing on this feature is that they listened to owners who said,
Yeah.
hey, I was using that, and I don't want to have to do a hack of putting it in camp mode or dog mode just to leave the accessories on. I had a use case, and Tesla was like, oh, okay, we'll enable that use case. There's a setting for it now. So they don't have to assume they have to keep everything on. You can actually tell them, yes, I really do need this. And instead of, so it allows them to save power for people who aren't using it while still giving the features that people that do use it.
Exactly. And then they can also get the better numbers on whatever they're aiming for bragging rights, as well as the annual report with like, oh, you know, we did this much power by solar. And you know, if you're not running Sentry mode, why is any of that stuff on, right? A regular car is just off.
Right.
And so now you can kind of go back that way, but you get a choice now to do what was already there instead of them just taking it away. And then obviously sometimes you'll have to let your car sleep or reboot it a certain way. Same as if you leave Sentry mode on 24/7. It gets rid of that issue. You know?
Right. Well, I'm just happy that they did go and find an update. They knew that some people had a legitimate use for it, and it made sense to them. So they've now incorporated it into this new feature. So they can flag whatever type of internals they need. But like Patrick mentioned, they have the ability now. The people that are using it for that reason can use it again.
Exactly. Hopefully next time they give it the toggle instead of just taking over. They've done this before. The single pull, a lot of us like the double pull, because with a single pull you still get cruise control, and with FSD you get a single pull and you don't have cruise control anymore.
That's correct. Yeah, that is correct. Who's got the dog in the background?
Not me.
That's me. Yeah.
No, not a problem. Not a problem. Next, and this happened in, I guess, more in Patrick's area than mine or Casey's area. But there was a story about the FBI was investigating a suspected bombing at a supercharger in Washington. Patrick, did you happen to see this story?
I did, yeah. So this is Lacey, Washington, which, if you're familiar with the area, you know where it is, but it's a suburb of Olympia. And it's an important supercharger spot because
Patrick,
between Portland and Seattle, it's a long drive. Depending on traffic, it's anywhere from 2.5 to 5 hours. And that's a big delta because traffic makes a huge difference, especially in the Seattle area. But anyway, it's right in the middle. And we call that drive the slog around here. There's a lot of times Portland and Seattle, they're right along I-5. This is this is right between along I-5. So yeah, it's an important one. And we talked about how all this Tesla hate doesn't make any sense, and yet it continues. And I mean, if you're upset with the administration, taking it out on Tesla drivers is not the solution. Some people really balked it in my article about this, calling it terrorism. And to which I respond, if libraries or women's health clinics or churches were being shot at and Molotov cocktailed, would you call that terrorism? And so why do you view this differently? It's infrastructure that citizens depend on. So yeah, it is. So this is horrible. And I hope the person that did it gets caught. And it's so sad to me that these are people who probably support renewable energy, and yet here they are tearing down infrastructure because they're mad about something. Don't take the rage bait, man. Don't. You're getting played. You're being a chump, and stop it. Wake up. There's other better ways.
There is better
Yes,
ways,
there are.
absolutely. Like other ways that could actually make a difference.
Yes.
Being out there damaging other people's property, or being upset with current Tesla owners, or being vandalizing things, it's not going to change anything. All it's going to do is make other people miserable along with you. So it should be definitely, you should be trying to make the world a better place. And if you've got a beef with somebody or something, take it to them. Take it to the person or the actual group that is causing the issue. Don't just don't just go out and start bombing a piece of infrastructure, because, as Patrick said, the slog is hard enough without losing a supercharger that you want to charge halfway through the slog.
Right. Yeah. And you that analogy could be taken to, life in general. The slog is hard enough. Don't make it more difficult for people. And what if somebody got hurt? I mean,
exactly.
Some innocent person walking by when this thing explodes, they had nothing to do with it. And like you said, Mark, it's not going to help advance your cause. And if you end up injuring innocent people, it's going to make it even. Now you're the fringe lunatic, and your side is going to be viewed as wrong because of it.
Yeah.
Plus, it's
how many times has somebody tried to do something with vandalism, and an innocent showed up to charge just by chance?
Or just walking by.
Yeah, someone gets hurt for a reason that was way beyond anything they were expecting, and you, as the person that was damaging something, you probably weren't expecting to hurt anybody, but now you have, and it's escalated the issue, and of course the criminal content to it has been escalated as well because of the injury.
Right. Yeah. It could even be a first responder that gets injured.
Yeah, or think of the original bomber people here in this country. 2 little girls got lost their lives over nonsense. It was the way they looked.
Yep.
Yeah. The other thing with this is you're looking at high voltage critical infrastructure, high voltage AC and DC, because it's the charger, so it's taking in grid power, raw grid power, and it's putting out high voltage DC. So it's not. I mean, it is built to fail safely, but it's not built to fail during an explosion. So
when you blow up the safety equipment, it's hard for it to operate functionally properly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So if it was a if unless the bomber was an infrastructure electrician, then there's no guarantee that it would be done in such a way that that we could guarantee anybody safety coming along later versus just in the moment.
Yeah.
Change them.
Well, hopefully this person is found and prosecuted, and it becomes a beacon for others to see that this stuff is not going to be tolerated. It's not useful to anything or any cause. All it can do is cause more grief for innocent people.
Yep.
Next, let's move on to this story. This one is a new thing about emergency sirens, and of course, we've talked about this previously on shows where we said, is the in-cabin microphone, is it able to pick up police sirens, or is it able to pick up ambulance or fire sirens? And it looks like Tesla has been working on this issue, and they've got some new siren detection that's coming up. Green Day only, of course. The white hat hacker has found this bit of code. Hello. And it's new that it's actually picking up outside siren, and on top of it, when it detects it, it's automatically turning down the volume of whatever you're playing in the car, and it's also going to be displaying a note on the screen indicating that it has detected a siren on the outside of the vehicle. We had talked about this previously about, is it possible that, the stereo system could be playing a song with siren in it and it would detect that? Or is it possible that it's just detecting something that's outside of the car? So it looks like Tesla has been working on this, and they haven't deployed it yet because Green only discovered it outside of the operating code. But this is, again, another safety feature that's going to help people as time goes along.
I'm curious. The inside of these cars is quite noisy, and on the newest of the new, there's an actual hardware change. They they have new windows, and the sound environment is much more damped, and so I'm curious. Are they going to use the PWS speaker as a microphone, perhaps? Because every microphone is a speaker, and every speaker is a microphone.
Right.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're wired up to allow that operation.
Oh. Well, yeah. But I'm wondering if the board they're plugged into is custom code and even capable of realizing what's going on with that, or are they just like really good at their sound isolation to know this is what I'm putting out as a speaker, like for the sound system. Here's the road noise I'm canceling out, and then here's my users. Oh, there's a siren. That's not in any of this mix. Let me pay attention to the siren and deal with it, or both, because like my car doesn't have an exterior PWS, and they got the code too.
Right. And I'm actually wondering if future models will have an external speaker or microphone, I should say.
Right. Yeah, because there are other brands like Mercedes and Audi, German mostly, that have acoustic detection or straight up microphones in the wheel wells, so they can deal with like rain sloshing on the tires noise and stuff like that. So
right. Yeah, you could
we
also
don't
use it
have-
for active noise canceling of road noise, and then its other purpose could be this emergency vehicle detection.
Yeah, you think it would certainly be easier for it to pick, if it was an outside mic that could pick up something that's, it's not compensating for what's in the car and guessing what the people are doing and what song is playing and all that kind of stuff. If it was just strictly on the outside, or has a path to the outside, so that you would hear that siren coming up behind you or beside or in front of you.
Yeah, because most of their cars have anywhere from 1 to 2 microphones. Some of them have more, like the ones with the noise cancellation on the new S and X. But if you don't count the PWS being reversed as a speaker, from a speaker to a microphone at high speeds, then that's it. They don't have the noise cancellation speakers on the mid-age Model 3 and Y. And I don't know that the Highland and Juniper have it either, because they haven't advertised active noise cancellation in the seat speakers like they have on the premium cars.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So my guess is they're going to roll this out with the equipment they have. They're going to see how it works. If it works sufficiently, then the best part's no part. So why add another part? And if it doesn't work sufficiently, then sometime next year we'll see new vehicles with an external microphone.
The next question is, how do blind people handle? Not blind people. How do deaf drivers handle it? Nothing against blind people, but I don't know that we give any of them driver's license, but we do give driver's license to deaf drivers. And how do they handle the?
Well, of course, there is a message that's appearing on the screen as well. So if it does detect a siren, not only does it lower the music that's being played in the car to alert the driver, but it is going to show a message on the central screen that there has been a siren detected.
Yeah, that could actually be very helpful if you're deaf or hard of hearing, to see emergency vehicle detected. Then you could become much more alert. And if you notice, traffic slow down, why, and it could be pretty handy.
And I hope, Patrick, that like how Tesla does with over time, they make things better. Hopefully, it could maybe even tell you that it's detecting it's behind you.
Oh yeah,
that would be real useful, so that people are not looking for where it is. It's actually saying we're detecting a siren behind you.
Especially on American sirens, we have no directionality to ours, whereas your European and Asian folks generally have either the shusher or a tone that can actually be pinpointed. It's just if this applies to me, or am I approaching it, or is it all behind me and I don't have to worry about it? Like
right.
Going across.
It would take at least 2 microphones for directional, but maybe they could also use the cameras.
Well, they could also do Doppler, so it wouldn't be as useful. It'd be just like AP1.
True, if you knew exactly what frequency you needed and you knew your speed, you might be able to. That'd be pretty clever. Am I going towards it or away from it?
At least that, And then you have to figure out is it coming towards me because I'm driving to it, or because it's crossing and then crossing it back. But interesting, not easy. An interesting computer science problem on that one. But the when I was talking about the deaf people, I meant like the deaf people in a fossil or a non autonomous enabled EV. How did they deal with sirens right now? I'm curious. I'm gonna have to look it up while we talk about the next thing. And then before we move on to the next topic, Eric had a question that I had an answer to.
Go ahead.
So on the other story about the returning our power switch, let me put on screen here. Eric asked, "What about a cutoff switch at a certain percentage to solve the 12-volt problem?" But that's the beauty of this. They had that already at 20%. All the extra crud turned off. So, but now whatever metric they were trying to hit and whatever reason they were trying to do that, we get the best of both worlds. So.
Yeah. No, good point, Eric. Next, I want to talk a little bit about automation. And there is now at Giga Texas, Joe Tegmeyer, of course, the eyes in the sky there, happened to notice recent drone footage that starting, I guess it was just a day ago or so, the new vehicles, Model Ys and CyberTruck, are moving fully autonomously out of the factory to the westbound lot without human supervisors.
Mm-hmm.
He saw it happening constantly with Model Ys and immediately driving on their own route to the outbound lot. And this is something that we've talked about previously in Germany. We've talked about it in Shanghai. So it looks like Texas is the latest. There even was a story about some of cars moving in Fremont along a back road that was basically cars filtering out of the production line onto this road. So it looks like Texas is the latest to get this ability, and Model Ys, although Joe said both Ys and Cybertrucks, but apparently he saw more Ys doing this than actual Cybertrucks.
Yeah, the Cybertrucks were sitting still by the time he had his video out. So I'm curious if they were driving through the tunnel or if they were also driving
exactly.
2 miles.
Yeah, that's just what I was wondering too. You might not see the Cybertrucks if they're going through the Cybertruck birthing tunnel.
Well, to where they were parked in his video. We're talking maybe 1,000 to 3,000 yards, and the Model Y. This is interesting compared to Fremont because everything at the Fremont situation there is over the campus, while they folks in the comment threads said that what they were driving on for Model Y was not a public road, but there is a section where they cross under a highway bridge on a road that doesn't look like it's exclusive access to Tesla, even if it's not a public road. And and it gets to so you got it right here, and it gets to interface with real life traffic. Go ahead and mute your audio so you can. It's a picture. Okay, and so the Cybertrucks were there when he did the flyover, and the Model Ys were coming in. They were staging just past the cyber tunnel. They were kind of waiting back there, and then when they had a group of like what looked like 5 to 10, they would then all unleash and then go to the lanes they were supposed to get in from 1 to 2 there. I guess the third would, if they wanted to be in lane 3. And at that point, a human, we're seeing the human right now on Mark's screen, the human would get in and then put the car where it had to go from there. Whereas on Fremont, it looks like the human would take it from there, put it on the truck.
So really in this photo, because of course the berthing tunnel is down here in this area, roughly where the crane is, but the Model Ys aren't coming from the tunnel. No, they're coming from the underpass of this bridge. And then of course on the other side over here is the factory. So it's making its way down this road on one side of the freeway. It goes underneath the bridge and then turns and comes up this long straightaway to the I guess the final testing area for new car production.
Yeah, and I would say that not knowing the actual layout of the road, but from the video, it looked like it was crossing a public road for just a skosh. From one right-hand turn, drive just a little bit, and then take the immediate right turn to get back on the for sure private property, and then end up in the lane past the tunnel.
Why not use the tunnel for all of them?
Yeah, there is something about maybe it's the end of the production line. You can't really interject another line into where it's actually physically coming up into the factory.
Yeah, when the Cybertruck lands on the ground for the first time, there's the tunnel. So
I see.
So somebody had said on X, hey, you gonna share that with the Model Y, and the Cybertruck account basically said something to the effect of, "Does it look like a Model Y?" That's good. Sure. But logistics are probably making it harder to do because then these.
So I hear there might be another tunnel coming soon. Is what I hear.
Possibly, but at this point, what the tunnel was really just to make it easier to get their drivers back and forth. So,
and now it may be you don't need the drivers at all. So
I see. Yeah,
that's kind of interesting. But you're right. Even if they were to shorten it up by putting another tunnel in, it would probably make more sense logistically to have a shorter distance, whether it's being driven by a human or autonomously. But Patrick or Casey, you made a good point about it's crossing a public road in one small section. My question would be, did they need special permission in order to allow that vehicle to drive autonomously across that slight public road?
Right, and I think that's why that person was so adamant that this is not a public road. And like I said, I haven't seen the maps. All I saw was the way that the everything was constructed and laid out in the video, and it looked like that. And like I said, that person may be correct, and I did not verify, but that is
even if it is a public road, it sounds like it's about one block, and if every car is driving, so less than one block, and if every car that comes off is driving, it's going to be, let's just say, a well-rehearsed route. I'm sure that if they're planning on launching Cyber Taxi or RoboCab, whatever, in Austin later this year, that they have the permits in place, and this one block is not a problem.
Right, they may be using the robotaxi permit. That was my other suggestion right there, is that they may still want the tunnel when it comes time for the cyber taxi, the robotaxi, because if they're really making one roll off the line every 5 seconds, that little corner is going to get congested, and the extra 2 miles will add more time to the process. But will it be appreciable enough to spend however much the Boring Company charges them to do the work, because they are still separate companies?
I would also think that people that are watching Tesla, as we know, hundreds of people are looking for any little bit of news story that they could report upon. If it was asked for permission to use a public road, I think someone would have came across it in some meeting or some documentation that about a approved plan for Tesla or something. So I'd be kind of, and again, I don't know for sure, but I'd be leaning towards this is not a public road, because if it was publicized somewhere, which it would have to be if it was a public road, that there is autonomous vehicles from Tesla using that road for even a small portion, I would think that there'd be some sort of documentation or write-up or meeting about that, and we've heard nothing.
We're talking like
Right.
what, 10 meters? So I would suspect that either they're using permits they already have, or this is just one of those sections of road that we have here in America that's privately owned, or limited access, but still is completely constructed such that it should be up to snuff. So
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Nope, that makes sense. But again, we knew this was coming. Like, this is not a huge surprise because of the other factories that had this access already. And, in fact, we were kind of surprised that Texas wasn't up on the list quicker than that. So it looks like they have extended that at this point.
Yeah, that might have been the complicating factor versus Shanghai. I'm sure they can do whatever they want. And Berlin, just a straight campus, just like Fremont is. So
yeah,
no highway in the middle.
That's convenient.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's again more autonomy heading our way, and a little bit. And again, we here at the Tesla Life are still kind of surprised that the boring tunnels have not gotten into this as an autonomy zone yet. Again, nothing's happened on that front as far as we know.
That was something I was interested in, though. That if the Cybertruck is driving the tunnel, it's the same style tunnel as Vegas. So is the boring loop getting ready to be able to enable FSD supervised, and then maybe later FSD autonomous?
Maybe, yeah.
I was promised UFOs. Let's get going.
Well, we're going to do this quick one, and of course, Casey knows all about this. So go ahead, Casey. What's this story about?
It's the reason they're trying to make me hold back on my reservation whenever I come.
So why is that?
So you all know I'm the electric towing guy for some reason. This what we're looking at is a picture of the sales section of the when you go to configure your Cybertruck. It says, "Hey, here is the range extender, which is a battery pack that takes up a third of the bed," and it's no longer listed in the configurator. It's still listed on their documentation, but it's gone from the configurator, and we don't know what this means. Is there going to be a long range pack? Are they just done with the concept of getting near 500 miles on the dual motor, or who knows what's happening? They haven't wrote any email telling anybody that we've canceled it. Here's your money back. They still show it on the webpage. Is this a case of perhaps maybe they have sold enough of these that they are at their capacity for what they were planning to do with sales and service?
Oh, that's an interesting thought there.
Yeah. Right. I'm really curious how this is going to play out. So it's no longer available for new orders, but does that mean that old orders will still be fulfilled and that they'll bring it back in low volume? Or does this mean that they're never going to make it? We'll know in a couple weeks.
Well, the fact that they haven't reached out to existing reservation holders, like you said, it could be just a matter of time, and they're just getting their ducks in a row to do that. But it'll be interesting to see what happens if they do make it, but only for those people. Kind of similar to how they had the battery swap. My car can take a battery swap, but there's only one location for it, and they closed it several months before my car was actually built.
Yeah. So it's again, Tesla's PR department really sucks because because it isn't there, and it leaves these questions kind of hanging. You can't really get an answer. You can send a tweet out and maybe someone replies to it, but more often than not, nobody replies to it, and you're just kind of left wondering, what is the issue here?
Tweet them, yeah.
Right, and if you bought a Cybertruck with a use case in mind that includes towing, and you need this capacity, now all of a sudden you might be pretty worried. You might want to know what the answer is going to be.
Yeah. Particularly if you're towing something non-aerodynamic and heavy, because that 500 mile-ish range would become about 250 mile-ish on bad days.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would put you at right in line with what the fleet is doing. It's like it's a new Model S and X with some degradation. It's a long range Model 3 and Y. No problem. The network is built for that. But
Yeah.
if you
Right.
take a vehicle with the range of a Model X and then you cut it in half, and the half isn't common, but it's not unheard of either. I don't want to say, oh yeah, I never had a problem with that, because I did, but it wasn't the norm for me. Like the supercharger network is usually fine, but if you're looking for right now, it's just not set up for trailers without detaching, and again,
Mm-hmm.
some trailers cannot be detached.
Yeah.
Rentals particularly, because they don't all have landing gear. But your personal trailer, it just might be a hassle. And they are putting more long cable chargers out there. As we saw, Germany no longer has a short cable charger anywhere. But will that be enough to solve the towing question?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's-
And Derek in the chat room has got a valid point too. Is it possible that they're redesigning it?
right, yeah. So that's the
There is certainly that possibility. Again,
Mm-hmm.
we're all kind of guessing from the outside because again, there is no PR department. They can't tell us.
Right.
But this type of thing, leaves us kind of wondering. And as Patrick mentioned, if you did buy it for towing, you'd probably like that answer sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
So
right. And
if you're listening out there, Tesla, maybe invoke a PR department that can answer important questions. Like just even if it's only an anonymous tweet account or something, an X account, like have something so people could put it out there. Hey, what about this? Like,
right.
Do you guys know what's going on?
Right, because right now, say everything was ready to go right now, I can't get the Cybertruck for what I want to use it for, because I don't know if it's going to be able to bridge all of the distances I need it to bridge anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah.
It'd be nice if they do cancel the range extender, if they continued to make the vehicle so that they could accept a range extender and then release the specs and do third-party certification of them. That would be an interesting way to go.
That would be cool. Yeah. Yeah. Or let me buy it off somebody and then have service switch it between the cars or something. I don't know, but the way this was done is the typical Tesla way. If they do plan to continue this, they cut it with no story, and there's now a gap because the new one is not ready yet. If we're doing the redesign for a new one, and so all these people in the middle aren't going to buy a truck until there's an answer.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, I've got a different spin on the story. I went out to my car this morning just to get in it, normal drive to where I was going, and I noticed that the front wheel looked a bit different. And I was, and it didn't strike me right away as to why it looked different, but then it quickly hit me that my lug nut covers that I use on the car, all 5 were gone on the front driver's side wheel.
Oh.
So someone lifted them. It was either last night or earlier this morning that it happened, and they just took 5 of them. And I haven't had a chance yet today, but I'm going to go review the security photos or the video and see if I can see any activity around the car. But they just disappeared overnight or early in the morning. It was kind of shocking because I've almost known the car for 7 years, and this is the first time anything like this has happened to it.
Right. I was about to say, 7 years here, 100,000 miles, P100D, so we're talking hundreds of horsepower. And the only time that mine have ever come off, somebody actually pulled them off to reach the real one so they could take the wheel off. And
there you go. My wheel was not touched. The lug nuts were still in place, and they were still solid. But again...
Smart to check them, though.
One and then one something. No, look at that.
Yeah, and I'm in small town Ontario now, and really, I was kind of surprised that happened. I was not expecting that to happen here, especially. But But that kind of dovetails us into our next story, which, of course, disappearing things. We've got this story that Tesla is creating a new supercharger in New Mexico. And what's unique about this New Mexican charger is that it's going to be in the little town of Roswell, New Mexico. And if any of you know the name Roswell, it's probably because of UFOs. And that is what Tesla took inspiration of and is creating a brand new supercharger, only 8 stalls, that is going to have a UFO theme. And I thought that was very cool. We talk about how they have the flags that go on superchargers now. Well, this time they've taken inspiration from something that's famous in that part of the world, and they are modifying the supercharger to give a hello to what that is in that town. And I've got some fantastic photos here of some conceptual art of what this is going to look like. And I thought I would share it with you. And you can see that in this photo, you've got the almost like a flying wing type supercharger canopy. And it appears, I'm not sure if it is or not, but it appears that it's actually lit up with LEDs on the one edge. Although that could be inspiration that the artist has done, but it also is, you can see that the underside is a flat or maybe metallic black to make it look like maybe a UFO would look from underneath it if you were staring up at the night sky in Roswell, New Mexico.
I've got another photo for this thing that you might want to see. Let me get it in a separate tab so I can share it with you guys.
That image right there, the way the light is, reminds me of the Cybertruck and the new Model Y.
It sure does. The one I'm about to share, you'll see why I thought it was a Cybertruck at first.
And it's cool that they have a solar canopy. I wish more of the supercharger stalls had solar canopies. I know Tesla doesn't own the property for most of them because they're in a Target or a Walmart or whatever. So in this one, they obviously have the right to do this. Either they own it outright, or whoever they're leasing it from said, "Sure, install whatever you want."
Yeah. And they use like accent lighting of red, which of course I'm not sure if this was an artist rendition or if they're actually going to have like red underlighting. But again,
it should be green, cool. Alien green.
Right? This was found as usual by our friend Marco RP, who happens to always find the
new superchargers. Absolutely, yeah.
Well, not he finds the filings for them, and so to do this, they needed approval from the government, right? So they did that and got approval, and he found it. And so there's the backside of it. This part didn't look as cyber to me. It looks more UFO like oval-like. Here we can see the site plan and more, and then there's more of it. And here's what they had submitted initially. You can see they have some short cable superchargers in the initial mock-ups.
Oh yeah,
which were since replaced, and a little more UFO-like, huh?
Yeah, like the shining down lights in the corner.
Look like you're being beamed up.
It does. It does. I thought, what an excellent idea. Like we talked about, that Tesla is innovating with the superchargers and what they actually have at them, stores or the ability to get some food and drink. But I think this is a great idea. Going to a region that has a tourist attraction of a certain thing and share that, make the supercharger unique to that area, that country, that region, I think is an excellent idea. And I look forward. That's a great shot with it showing like the under lighting, like in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where it's got like a city underneath it as it's flying over you. Like fantastic ideas.
So this one was posted by Max de Zeker, the head of supercharging. And look where my mouse might be. A little closer there. What do you see there?
Is that a rabbit?
Look down here. Pretend you
No,
just
it is.
ordered it. What do you see on
The
your screen?
hedgehog. The hedgehog. Look at that.
Oh, there he is, sideways. Yes, I see him now.
Of course.
Aha, yes.
Put an Easter egg in there as well. Why not? Yeah.
And so it's very much Cybertruck looking when you see it. Cybertruck's underneath it, and then you see this angle. It's like, wow, that is phenomenal. And there it is.
Very cool. Very cool.
Mhm.
So you got the
So,
pipes,
yeah.
and then you
Don't know if I'll be traveling to Roswell, New Mexico anytime soon, but I'll be definitely watching the supercharge.info site for updated photos as they start to build this, because that is going to be a very unique supercharger, and I look forward to seeing its construction. Very good, very good. Let's move on. I think we're at the end. We're at the end. It's been on the air for about 45 minutes. And let's move into shout outs. Casey, what do you got for us?
All right. So here we are, the end of Wednesday night. Coming up on Friday night, you've got the Tesla Life Express Edition 1. Then you've got on Sunday, you've got Let's Chat with Casey and Friends over at youtube.com/Casey Green or at G-Custom over on X. And that's going to be at 1:10 p.m. Eastern on Sundays. Eastern time, yeah. And then we've got on Monday, we've got the Tesla Life Express Edition 2, followed by another live show a week from now.
Very good, very good. Patrick, we weren't able to get your video rolling, but I'm sure you've got some shout outs for us anyways.
I do. As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and we have a special event tomorrow where we are going to talk to Ranger EV. So if you're curious in hearing about their solution, they have something that they're calling the Venmo of charging, and their target is Airbnb type locations, and to make sure that those have charging. And, we can all do guerrilla charging, but if it's just there and already has a level 2 and you can leave it plugged in overnight, that's just so much more convenient. So they're trying to help get that infrastructure in place, which is pretty cool. So check that out. And then, as always, I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels.
Awesome. And Lee Moon in the comments, Patrick's got a new name for you today, and that, of course, is Stealth Patrick.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, that's the beginning.
Yeah. Thanks, Lee. Yeah. And Derek had a comment about somebody complaining about how they had to use the touchscreen to open the glove box. You don't have to. You can just press the little scroll wheel and say open glove box, and
that's right.
Pops
the
open,
voice commands get looked over a lot of times. People forget about it, but there's a whole mess of voice commands that can make things easier as you're driving.
Right, and I don't like scrolling through menus looking for stuff. And
right.
They move them every now and then, which is fine because they're trying to make it better. But it also means you have to, if you've learned it, you have to relearn it, and just the voice commands are a much better way to go.
Yeah, and there's one more officially approved way glove box besides pry tools and such, because those are not the approved way. If your airbag's deployed,
that's not whether it's approved or not. You don't want to take that way. Not at all.
It's an expensive way to open your glove box. I'm just going to deploy the airbags. I got to get my gloves out.
It's quicker than a voice command, I think. So let me just veer into this telephone pole. Oh my goodness. Want to also thank Lee Moon for supplying the music that we use every week for the show. Thanks so much, Lee. Lee's in the chat room, of course. Everyone say hello to Lee. And,
and Lee has a good tip. If you really care about the glove box that much, you can program it to one of the programmable wheels and just make that your glove box opening button.
Oh, and Derek's going to share that link with us of the person that has an issue with the glove box. So we'll watch for that, Derek. Thanks so much for putting the link into the show notes. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
But
one of my 2 buttons on the dashboard is for the glove box.
Yeah, yeah.
You get
And
old
of
ones.
course, if like you said, if it bothers you really that much, there even is some of those aftermarket buttons, like they're called
Oh, yeah.
sexy buttons, and you can
Sexy
program them
buttons.
to do whatever you want. So, including pop your box. You could even put the button right on the box. So it's up to you. Yeah.
Put it on the box.
So thanks so much, everyone, for being with us tonight. We appreciate it. And again, you can follow us through the week at The Test Life on our X feed. And again, we're going to see you again shortly coming up Friday. So thanks so much for being with us. And we'll get together next time and find out what's happening in the Tesla life.
Stay positive, test negative.
Roswell!